How much storage is in the cloud?
Infinite.
Everybody, aggregate wise.
Oh, man, yeah, I don't know. All right, gentlemen, we have road and bridge report minutes for September 3rd. I'd entertain a motion on that one.
No, so moved, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a
Second,
second?
Mr.
All
Chair.
right, and any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye, all right, thank you. All right, Bear, you're up.
Okay, pretty boring one so far today. Really nothing, no new calls. We had one little request for grading, but we kind of already knew about it, so. Nothing major as far as new stuff going.
I haven't had any with this.
Yeah, with the long weekend and different things going on, we haven't been doing a lot, but. I do have a couple of guys from Montana City been down helping Blade here in Boulder to get caught up. They finished up Basin Creek and we're working on Basin Creek or Bernice on Wednesday. They're doing a little bit more this morning and then they're gonna go help the rest of the Montana City guys do that Corbin repair project today.
Okay.
We've also been doing a bunch of culvert cleaning up north, just trying to get ready for winter time. We found a lot of culverts that we didn't know really even existed. So hopefully we'll fix some issues there. Some training Thursday, we had the LTAP in, did a very comprehensive training on the whole picture of drainage and culverts and the shaping of gravel roads and hydrology and pretty in depth. It was good for, I think a lot of guys took a lot of good stuff away from it. We had about 30 guys from neighboring counties there, so.
You got new grading people that do the grading. I mean, do they get training on how to shape them and how to knock the?
Yeah, so we've had a lot of classroom end on it. We're working with LTAP as well as some other Macros counties about trying to come up with a better hands-on training. The problem with LTAP is because they're through MSU, MSU's liability will not let them get in or on graders. He has bought some radio headsets to be able to communicate with operators, so we're lining something up for the spring.
Okay.
But Macros is also working on potentially creating their own hands-on grader training program by bringing in representatives from the different manufacturers as well as just experienced hands and kind of putting together something, but it's in the very early stages. But
Would that be something where they get a certificate from that?
no,
Oh, okay.
and certificates are not necessarily something anybody's ever going to get because certificates then impose liabilities. Even for
They do what with liability?
it'll create a liability. So if an entity gives you a certificate saying you're certified to do something and you go out and screw something up, then it potentially puts them on the hook for a lawsuit. So even with forklifts, you know, everybody says you have to be forklift certified. And we get a certificate of a training completion from the state when we do ours. But it's not like it's a certification that you're a certified forklift operator. That's a misconception a lot of people have, that you don't get an actual certificate. It's just a certificate of training.
We should look at those certificates law enforcement is getting it.
Yeah, it's just saying you met the criteria is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all they're really doing is saying that you've been through a class that was taught by a competent individual. Me being a supervisor, I'm considered a competent individual, which is scary. So I can provide training on all of our equipment just because of my title, which
No,
is,
that's a good comment.
you know, there's things that I can teach guys, but there's a lot of stuff I can't. And so,
Who's showing the new guys how to run those graders now?
so Rory's been doing a lot of it. And that's really, he kind of gives them the nitty gritty, gets them in and shows them. And then a lot of it's just kind of, you know what it needs to look like, and you just got to get used to making that machine, figure out how to make that machine do it the way that you feel comfortable doing it. Because you can send 10 guys out to blade a road and they're all going to blade it a little different.
Yeah.
I will say that Ryan and Buck here in Boulder are doing a really good job. There's been a couple times where it's like, hey, we probably ought to go touch that up or redo a section or something. But for the most part, they're both doing really well. They take a lot of pride in what they're doing. The only downfall right now is both of them being new, they are quite a bit slower.
Yeah.
That's why we got to bring in some other guys at times to get caught up. Easton does a pretty good job on a blade. Haven't really had Jim on one yet, but and then Sean and Dylan are both, you know, top blade hands. Those guys are great. Scott and Shrub, they are adequate, but they're both just as content running a water truck versus a blade.
Sure.
So, so we're doing pretty good. I mean, we can always do better, but the hardest part we have is like for drainage, you know, you're supposed to have 24-foot wide road surface with about a 3-foot shoulder and then a ditch slope. You know, you're now talking a 36 wide area before you even get to the bottom of your ditch. And then, you know, a couple more feet for ditch and then a back slope, and we're outside of a 60-foot easement.
Good luck.
In a lot of our areas, we've got fences 5 foot off of a road. So how do you go cut in proper drainage?
Right.
So the guys would always put in a V ditch, which has been kind of a standard for years, but V ditches cause problems because it makes, you got a very narrow, steep channel. Water runs faster through that than it does a big, wide, flat bottom. And that's when we start seeing these big washouts, like on the side of Forest Park, you know, there's a V ditch, but then you get a heavy rain and now it's gone. So, you know, where we can, we're looking at expanding shoulders and, you know, ditches and moving stuff and getting what we can out of it, but it's gonna be a long. Just
Yeah.
trying to get roads shaped right is a long enough process, cause you take a road that's flat or convex, concave or whatever, and just to get that proper slope back takes a year or two of reshaping. It's not like you just go out and recut it and have it shaped properly.
Right.
So,
So you're kind of at a disadvantage with a bunch of new guys on the grader, so
yeah,
it's like all your history, your historic guys left all at the same time, so you got a bunch of green guys there, so. that makes
Yeah.
sense.
A little bit, yeah.
it's a little challenging, but the fact that our guys do take a lot of pride in what they're doing, they've all got a good understanding of what we're trying to achieve.
Mhm.
We're getting in the right direction. And the problem is just historically, we haven't seen the traffic and the
Yeah.
conditions we have to where we need to. You know, an old mine road was okay for a long time. Well, now it needs to be wider, it needs better drainage and it needs
Yeah.
to be improved, and we're not in a position to really do that.
10 times more traffic now.
Yeah, we know what our roads need to look like, we know where we want them to be, we're just trying to figure out how to get there. Yeah, so I mean, that's really what we've been focusing on is training and getting our guys on par. You know, and it's also hard to get ahead when you're always playing catch up with new issues, and the issues change every day. But, so Whitehall guys have been doing the same, just blading and then patching in the afternoons after the ground warms up. We got a little bit more to do down there for patching, and we got some more oil last week, which is they call it winter blend. I can't remember the actual chemical name of it, but we should be able to patch as long as it's above, I think, 40 degrees.
Mhm.
So we got a couple totes of that to run out down there and up here in Boulder. So,
That's pretty good, pretty low
Yeah.
temperature.
so as I mentioned, we're gonna do, start at the bottom of Corbin and just work our way up probably a quarter mile, half mile, get that section reworked and see what happens. And that'll give us a better game plan going into the springtime. I don't think we're gonna be able to open any more of that up this winter, just with the way winter's looking like it's gonna hit soon.
You gonna do that right after lunch or?
Yeah, right about lunchtime. There'll be, when I get done here, we've got a couple things to do, and then they're gonna head up that way and we'll get started on it.
You're gonna hit it with a little bit more of the dust pods.
Yeah,
Try to-
so talking to Park County and then also a couple other counties at the meeting last week. You mix it about 1 to 4,000, get 1 jug to 4,000 gallons of water. A really diluted mixture. You just wet it down, let it soak in for about 20 minutes to soften that top inch or so. And then you just blade that top surface, just a finish grade to get those chunks out. And
Polish it off. Huh?
yeah.
That road surface up there seems to be pretty solid now. I mean, it's not rutting out or, you know,
No,
what it was
it's
doing before.
Definitely hard.
It's harder than the state.
Yeah, and I've talked to a couple of these counties that said if you try to blade these roads without pre-soaking them, you will break cutting edges.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Well, that takes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty hard there.
so. I did talk, when I was talking to Wayne last week, and he sent out an email to just let us know again, but they're working with an environmental engineer company just to put together some sort of documentation that explains their process without divulging proprietary secrets. That'll be something we can present to the public that explains to them that this is environmentally safe, that there are no hazardous dust or chemicals or anything being dumped into the stream. So that's in the works. He just doesn't know the time frame of when he'll have that ready. Pretty far out, but again, Macker's conference is that last week of March. The 24th is the leadership conference, and the 25th and 26th will be the actual conference.
Where's that at?
In Great Falls again. We just can't find anywhere else in the state that has a venue big enough to host the event. There's just, maybe when Billings gets their new conference center done, they might move it out there, but for right now, it's the biggest one. we
Works
can
out
find.
good for you there. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is where you'll move up one more step, right?
yeah, after this one, I'll move up to first VP.
Okay.
Yeah, so in 2027, I'll be the president at that conference. And then maybe we'll take a break.
We'll see if maybe the new commissioner wants to go up to that one. Well, if not, I'll go.
Yeah, and we went over a lot of preliminary topics, just to find speakers and trainers for the event. I think we're gonna have a lot of good topics, but I'm not gonna give out the list because we haven't got them locked in yet. But there's gonna be some stuff with road law, other than Susan Swimley, and some right of way and easement stuff. Yeah, quite a bit. Pretty good topics, I think, this year. We can make them all come to fruition, so.
The panel you had for commissioners last year was pretty, I think that would stem some pretty good information.
Yeah, and that's one that's on the list. It's kind of if we can't fill enough slots. Cause the way it looks right now, we might have 3 or 4 different roundtables going. One of them is like a soil stabilizing, so like Dust Pods and Mag and some of these other companies that offer different types. Having them come in and give just a quick 5-minute overview of the product, and then having counties that are using these different ones talk about the pros and cons of everything that they're using. And then another one we're looking at is, and it might be myself and Corey from Park and a couple of these other younger supervisors talking about some of the new technologies that are coming down the pipeline for roads. There's quite a bit. So it's just not in equipment, but drones and the road raiders and all sorts of new technology coming out, so. And then I got a call from BBRD this morning. They're going up today to mark all the cattle guards that they would like to see removed from Basin Creek. So we both agreed, we don't know if we'll get to them this fall, just with the way things are sitting, but at least next spring we can go in and yank out, I think it was 4 or 5 cattle guards on Basin Creek, which just makes it so much easier for us with plowing and grading it. So,
Do we get to keep those cattle guards? Or?
no, they're gonna take them back, but
Oh, okay.
we've got, I think I've got about 20 sections of cattle guards in the state.
Oh, gotcha.
They had a bunch of them down in their yard that they wanted gone. So we went and hauled all them off last winter, and I think I've got 6 or 8 down in Whitehall and another 16 or 22 here in Boulder.
Okay, you're pretty well set.
Yeah, but some of them are in need of a repair here and there, like you've got a chunk missing or something, but it sure beats having to buy a whole new cattle guard section.
Yeah, we can repair them.
Yeah,
So is the Forest Service not doing any leases up there anymore? What? That's funny that they give, now they don't.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely cows up there, but I don't know if they're coming over from a different lease and they're just getting off of where they're supposed to be.
All one lease.
Yeah, but they said all them cattle guards, there's only one, I think up high that they were gonna leave. But the rest of them, they said they don't serve any purpose,
Interesting.
which we could have told them, because since I've been here, the 3 or 4 that I know of, there's no fence running to the cattle guard.
It's just a cattle guard.
Yeah, they're just. in
Yeah,
the way.
maybe it changes the boundaries or something.
Yeah, so. Yep, we got a bunch of culverts coming in today, a bunch for Elkhorn Working Group. We got that meeting next Tuesday. I'll be meeting with Elkhorn Working Group at 10, going and doing a site visit for the grant.
No meeting, no
Yeah,
road meeting.
no
next
road
week.
meeting next week. I haven't been up to check their progress, but I believe the fencer started last Wednesday or Thursday up there on that project, so.
What are they fencing right now?
The section from the state parking lot following along the reader's boundary
Okay,
over to the,
on the Forest Service
On
side
the
or on
Forest
either
Service
side?
side.
Okay, so keep them from wandering out.
yeah, to
Okay.
help block all those illegal routes that were created.
Okay, good.
Keep them on the trail. And I think that was the biggest concern, other than the riparian area, was the fact that there were 2 or 3 alternate routes through there.
Is that gonna hinder us from getting our equipment up there or?
Oh, no, Absolutely not,
Okay,
no.
I wasn't sure if you were having to get off that rough road over onto the grass to get around stuff.
We can still do that in most spots if we need to. We're gonna do a little, even. It's one of the many projects I wanna get to, is still do a little bit of improvement to that rough section, just pulling some rocks and stumps out, but. It's such a low priority, so it might be 5 years before we get to it, but. Definitely going in the right direction on it. We still gotta finalize the creek crossing. And then get the signs in to do the new route and close off that trail through the riparian. So other than that, some good progress, so. That's about all I got for today.
Gentlemen, have anything for Mr. Bear?
No, you're getting no complaint.
Question, are you getting any feedback, not that it matters because it's that time of the year, but on the Little Boulder at all? Has anybody said anything since last time we talked?
No, but I've got that on my list to
Well, I
get
know
hold of Tim today. I've not done a very good job. of
We got a
following
nice
up with
note.
him, But
Last week on somebody, didn't we?
we went a couple weeks ago about Sean doing some good work up on
Yeah, maybe that was it.
Warm
Warm
Springs.
Springs, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That one's funny because we'll go and blade it and because we'll be getting complaints, and then while we're blading it, people come out yelling at us because it makes people drive faster when we blade it. Can't win. Yeah,
The only thing I had was I had the people in from Big Dipper. Was it Big Dipper? Yeah, Big Dipper. They're due for a chip seal. I'm not sure how we're gonna do that. Chip seal meeting.
yeah, I mean, it's one that, so I went and looked at it this spring to see if we were gonna do it when we were still talking about doing chip seal. And there's only one crack in that entire road. I mean, it's still holding together fine. I understand they've got it in their head that they need to be on this cycle. But those are for higher volume traffic roads, and where they're not getting any traffic, it's
Right.
hardly seen any wear and tear. And we're not blowing them off or forgetting about them, and when we get to a point where we can do some sort of chip seal. But it'll
It's a-
definitely be on the list.
It's
to
a
get
real
done.
short road too, and it's
Yeah,
kind of a
it's-
pain to
Yeah.
have to pick that up. from
Mobilize.
Some
that.
other, yeah,
Almost be
yeah.
better to hire somebody to go do it. if
And
they're
that
in the
is
area.
something we may look at is. And get with Buster, or, Helen of Sand and Gravel, somebody that does chip seal and say, hey, if you've got a job
Close to that.
nearby, can
Yeah.
we piggyback on it? And,
Yep, that might be the best route.
yeah. But other than that, well, we gotta make sure they got money to pay for it, cause that's an RMD, so
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to afford the materials.
Materials, yeah, I'm not sure what Big Dipper.
Yeah, they're in pretty good shape, I think.
They're in better shape than most of the other ones.
Yeah,
Cause they got a little road, they don't spend any money. We probably don't do snow plowing. Do we?
Everybody up
We-
the Saddle Mountain's pretty
I
good.
don't think they have like, $100,000, but
Well, they're not South Hills. No.
I'm looking at.
South Hills can lend money to the county, I think.
Yeah, no kidding.
they should go pay to fix all their roads after they tore them all up.
All right, very
Okay.
good, Bear. Keep up the good work.
And keep up
Absolutely.
the work, I don't know how good it is.
Keep your sanity, okay?
Oh, I
Okay.
have that.
Get us.
Try to get out this afternoon, and take a peek.
Yeah, get us some pictures of the, how
Thank
that
you.